Three TypeScript backend frameworks are fighting for your next project: Express, Hono, and Elysia. One has run the web for a decade. One was built for the edge. One bet everything on Bun. By the end of this, you will know exactly which one to reach for. Express is the incumbent, over 10 years old, with the largest ecosystem and hiring pool on the planet. Here it is, fast, unopinionated, and minimalist. But it is node only, with no types or validation built in. You bolt those on yourself. Hono is the edge native. Tiny, ultra-fast, and built on web standards. The same code runs on Node, Bun, Dino, Cloudflare, Fastly, and Lambda. One codebase, any runtime. Elysia is the Bun-native challenger. Its whole pitch is end-to-end type safety, supercharged by Bun, and it compiles your routes ahead of time for top-tier speed. Here's the answer up front. The right pick comes down to one question. Where does your code run? On Node with the biggest ecosystem? Express. On the edge or across multiple runtimes? Hono, the safest bet. All in on Bun and want the deepest type safety? Elysia. Now let us prove it, head-to-head, across the things that actually matter. Express trails on speed and types, but wins maturity and ecosystem. Hono is fast everywhere. Elysia tops the synthetic benchmarks and owns type safety, at the cost of being the youngest. Elysia's single biggest trick is this. You write one schema, and it powers 4 things at once. That same schema becomes your runtime validation, your handlers types, your open API docs, and, through Eden, a fully typed client, your front end just imports. No drift between client and server, ever. But here's the question that decides a lot of projects. Can these even run on the edge, on Cloudflare Workers? Workers do not run Node. They run V8 isolates with a single fetch handler. So historically, Express, which needs Node's HTTP module, simply could not run there. That finally changed. Cloudflare now has an official tutorial for running Express on Workers, using a Node compatibility flag. It works, but with overhead and caveats, and it is still not the native way. Hono was built for this, a web standard fetch handler, the lowest cold start, the most proven worker story. Elysia ships a Cloudflare adapter too, but Elysia's own docs still label it experimental. And remember, raw speed is rarely your bottleneck. Once a real database is in the path, the gap between these frameworks shrinks to 10 or 20%. But adoption tells the real story. In a single week this year, Hono pulled around 38 million downloads. Elysia? About 460,000. So do not choose your backend by a benchmark leaderboard. Choose by where it runs and what you are optimizing for. Express for the ecosystem. Hono for the edge and runtime freedom. Elysia for end-to-end type safety on Bun. Pick the one that fits your project and own the trade-off.